What's up, you guys? America, welcome back to my channel. No, you grow up. Short intro on this one. You guys know what it is. We're going to take a look at all my TMNT figures that I bought in quarter 3. It was actually a pretty light quarter for me. I'm pretty sure I bought more X-Men and Spider-Man figures combined than I did TMNT figures in the last 3 months. And I got what'll be the last of my Lightning Collection figures as well. So I might do an opening video for all my non-TMNT figures here in a little bit too, which I haven't done in a while. But as for TMNT, there's actually a few figures that I got that I'm going to leave in package. I'm going to talk about that in the video. So after thinking about that, I probably did buy about as many TMNT figures this quarter as I usually would. I'm just not opening everything up. There is a Marvel Legends figure that snuck himself into this video, and you're going to find out why in a little bit. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's take a look at these figures. Alright, you guys, so here are my figures that I've gotten over the last 3 months. Like I said, I did get some stuff that I'm not opening for this. I got the 4-pack from the third movie, and I've been playing the long game on that one to see if the 2-packs were going to hit Walmart, and sure enough they have. I actually ordered them yesterday, so I'm going to keep that one in package just like I did with the 4-pack for Secret Views. And I also did get the Mutant Mayhem Disguise Party Pack, and I'm going to keep that one in package too. That along with the collector's cup that I got from the movies and the popcorn bucket are just like my big collectibles from the movie, but these glow-in-the-dark figures were the ones that I kind of just got for fun to play with. Like always, a lot of NECA figures in here. One figure in here is a repeat from my last opening, but I did get a second one and I just want to touch on him briefly. And then you might be wondering, why the hell is Deadpool here? And I'll definitely get to that in a little bit. Alright, you guys, so we'll start things off talking about these glow-in-the-dark figures. So each glow-in-the-dark turtle came in a quote-unquote 3-pack, which is an extreme stretch of that phrase. They try to count this little baby turtle as a figure, which, yeah, definitely not a figure. Even these baby turtles were sold in pairs, and they were sold for $10, so really they're only like a half figure, so at best it's kind of like a 1.5 pack with an accessory. I honestly wish they just would have sold these individually like the regular figures, and they just would have been $10 a pop. But after opening up these baby turtles, I actually like them a little bit more than I thought they would. Are they the coolest thing ever? No. Are they the greatest designs ever? Definitely not. They definitely do look like little Shrek monsters. But I thought they were going to be just like static statue type figures, but they actually have more articulation than I thought they'd have. So they have a little bit of head movement, not a ton, they're kind of tight. The arms though have quite a bit of movement, 360s all the way around, which again is just a lot more than I would have expected out of these. And they even have the waist swivel, which is always weird for turtles because turtles have a shell, so I don't really know how they could swivel at the waist, but still cool they added in that little bit of extra articulation. Donnie's a little bit lighter, and Raph and Leo are kind of like the same colors. It's cool that they do come with their main weapons. They're not painted or anything, but they do come out. You can take them out of their hands, and that's pretty cool. And Mikey's really the only one that's like a totally different color. He's like a darker green, so he kind of stands out from the rest. So even though I rather would have paid $10 for each of the turtles, I don't hate these little baby turtles as much as I figured I would have. So I actually didn't get any of the regular release Mutant Mayhem figures. I said ahead of the movie, I'm not going to go in on them because I've gone in on the 2012 line, I've gone in on the 2003 figures, and I've ended up selling all those because at the end of the day, I don't really care too much about those figures, and I knew I'd be excited about all the Mutant Mayhem stuff when it came out, and after a while I just get sick of it and probably end up selling it. But as you guys know, I'm a sucker for glow in the dark, so these ones did suck me in, and I don't hate these figures. For $10, they're actually, I feel like, a pretty good value for today's day and age. And when I say $10, I'm referring to the regular releases, not these glow-in-the-dark ones particularly. But I feel like these designs do pretty well in figure form. They're definitely not as solid as like the 2012 figures were. They feel a little bit cheaper, but they don't feel terrible, especially for $10. Leo's probably my favorite looking one. I feel like he just looks the most normal. Donnie's probably right after that. I actually already misplaced one of his swords. I dropped him when it was dark in here, and I was like, I'll just find it tomorrow, and it fell into a shelf or behind a shelf or something, which happens regularly, and I always end up finding that stuff when I do a reset, so I'm not totally worried about it, but kind of a bummer that I misplaced it right after I opened him up. Raph's my favorite turtle, and I'm never ever going to be a fan of the skull cap. I don't know why they just keep trying to force it upon him. It bothers me more than it bothers me that they always try to put glasses on Donnie now to just make you know he's a nerd. I don't know, the skull cap's just kind of off-putting, and I know like his original Mirage design when they did like the flashback or whatever, he was even wearing the skull cap for that, I'm pretty sure. But I do wish he just had a regular bandana. The Mikey head, still super off-putting even in action figure form. I don't know why they made his head such a stupid shape, but definitely my least favorite design of the 4 characters by a wide margin. So the glow-in-the-dark figures don't glow nearly as well as like the Super 7 figures, but clearly Super 7's putting like $10 more worth of glow powder in all their figures than they are. That's why they have to charge you so much for them. But again, for the low price point, I'm pretty happy with them. I'm glad I got these figures, and I'm glad I did end up getting something that I did open from the Mutant Mayhem movie. Alright, so we'll take a look at Deadpool here. So why is Deadpool here? Well, this was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and he came paired with this Hydra Bob figure over here who I don't really give a shit about, so I overpaid for a 2-pack to get one figure that I wanted, and the one thing that I really wanted from him were just these particular accessories that I have him holding now. So if you notice anything special about these accessories, they are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Easter eggs, which is fucking awesome. So he comes with the purple bow staff, the blue swords, he's got the orange nunchucks, and he's got the red sais. So I just thought that was the coolest thing when someone pointed that out, and it was one of those things where I'm like, should I spend that much money for something so stupid? Yes, I absolutely did it. I did not hesitate. I grabbed him as soon as I could, and I'm glad I got him because he did sell out. So apparently a lot of other people were pretty interested in this too. Deadpool is a very popular character. I actually have the retro carded one for my regular Marvel Legends collection. So this guy will probably hang out on my desk and I'll play with him and stuff like that. But anytime I can get a mashup, and it's not really a mashup, it is just more like Easter eggs with a Marvel figure, but still cool that two of my favorite properties can get a crossover like this. Turtles is far away my favorite property, and X-Men/Marvel is right behind that. So just super cool that they did something like this. This figure is really awesome too. I'm pretty sure he's on a Spider-Man buck. He has a really good articulation. He's got thigh cuts, calf cuts, and he's even got toe articulation, which is cool. So you're probably going to have to hit up the secondary market to get him, which is kind of a bummer now. And I know it seems ridiculous to pay that much for something that just comes with accessories that you want, but I really like this guy. So next we're going to talk about a figure that I actually opened another one of for my last opening video. The NECA Utrom was my sleeper figure from that video. I wasn't sure if I was going to army build Mirage figures, but like I said, this figure just blew me away. I expected nothing out of it. It's one that I wasn't particularly excited about, but when I got him in hand, I just couldn't believe how much detail was in this figure. He's painted super well. All of his lines are super sharp, and he just has a lot of good sculpting in him. Like I said, I didn't really even care too much about this figure. It was probably last on the list of Mirage figures I wanted, but when I got him, he was just so much better than I expected, and it made me want to get a couple more. So this is the second one that I've gotten, and I'm gonna get a third one, but there's a couple other army builder figures that I'm gonna try to get my hands on before I go for a third one of him, and those army builders are gonna be for the Sinja. So everything that I said about the Utrom goes double for this dude. This was one, like I said, I wasn't super excited about it. I didn't plan on army building it, but once I got him, he's just a lot cooler than I thought he'd be. Not quite as much detail as the Utrom has, but I like that he has the sheath for his sword and the holster for his pistol. That's pretty sweet. And he comes with alternate heads, so you can kind of vary him to army build him too, which is pretty cool. The reason I want to move fast on him is because he's a Best Buy exclusive, which is the weirdest place to start getting exclusives for NECA figures. So him along with the Wanderer back there, both Best Buy exclusives. I hate it when army builders are exclusives. I feel like that does give you a lot less chance to build your army the way you want to. And I think I'm just gonna get 3 of these guys, and I think that'll be like my magic number for the Mirage figures. So yeah, so really cool that the comic line has 2 of the coolest army builders, and if that foot soldier from the Ronin turns out as good as these guys, they might have 3 of the best army builders for TMNT figures. Alright, so next we'll talk about the Wanderer. So he is from issue 17 of the original Mirage run. I've only read that issue once. I want to say it's like a what if one-off story. I could be wrong. Maybe Michelangelo did take a trip to feudal Japan somehow. I can't remember. There was time travel and a lot of weird shit that went on in that comic. But as a figure, this guy is pretty cool. And just like the other 2 figures I talked about, the thing with these Mirage figures is I feel like they're just getting a lot more attention to detail than any of the other figures in like the Toon line we're getting. I'm not saying that the detail in the Toon figures are bad, but it just seems like there's a little bit extra put into all these comic book figures. I don't know if it's all the line work or what it is, but they just all look so damn good. Comic figures are definitely becoming some of my favorite figures. I know they don't have the depth of the Toon line. Even with all 3 of the comic book lines they have going, they still might not be able to hit as many figures as they did with the Toon line. Only thing that's kind of off-putting about this figure is, for whatever reason, I just don't like it when the turtles don't have their masks on. Like in the original cartoon, whenever they weren't wearing them, it was just always very off-putting to me. And I know this just is the design of the figure. He wasn't wearing a mask in the comic, but it just, I don't know, like I said, it just always throws me off when the turtles aren't wearing their masks. But outside of that, this is a very good figure. I'm very glad I got it. Just like the Sinja, if this is anything you're interested in, I would jump on it quick, because we don't know how many of these figures Best Buy are going to carry. I think he was still up on the website the last time I checked, so I would grab him now if he's anything you might want in the future. Alright, so let's take a look at the classic color Casey here. So I'm super confused about what NECA is considering classic colors. So I feel like this is the IDW color classics, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea what color his fucking shirt was supposed to be in the original Mirage run. In issue 48 and 49 on the cover, I think his shirt's yellow, but he's wearing a little bit different of an outfit, but he is wearing shoes very similar to these in that cover. Regardless, I just thought this was a really cool figure. I didn't plan on going in on many of the variants for this line. I was gonna stick to just all like the main releases and just kind of have one figure from my Mirage line, but this is Casey, and outside of Raph, he is my favorite character from the Turtles, so I had no problem getting a second version of him, and I honestly do like this version a lot better. I feel like the colors on him just pop a little bit more. I like the tennis shoes on this one a lot better than the other one. The other one, they kind of look more like boots, to where these do look like tennis shoes, and I like that he comes with these alternate arms with the wrist wraps on them. I really like those. They just look a lot cooler than the gloves do. So the one nitpick that I do have with this figure is on his arms, the pins stick out quite a bit, and these arms aren't even as bad. Arms he came with just bulge out an insane amount, and it just looks like he has these freaking tumors on his arm, which is super annoying. And I feel like we're at the point where NECA just kind of needs to figure out how to get away from pins. The Sinjin back there doesn't have any pins in his elbows, and while he might not have as much range of motion as Casey does, I would gladly give up a little bit of range of motion. I just want him to look good on a shelf, so in my opinion, I just wish NECA would move away from pins, even if it does kill their articulation a little bit. But outside that nitpick, I really like this figure. I'm glad I got him. I may get a second one at some point if I see him in stores, if they put out more. I heard a lot of different things on this figure, like he was supposedly supposed to be an online exclusive, but accidentally got sent to all the stores, and that's why some of the stores clearanced him out so fast. And again, it's just a situation where I don't feel like this is a figure that needs to be an exclusive. I understand it's a red shirt, and Target usually tries to make red figures their exclusives, so I don't know if anyone else will ever get a crack at these again. I don't know if he's still up online or not, but I've heard Target has like an eBay outlet store or something like that where you can get him at retail, so you might want to check there if he's anything you're interested in. If you're happy with the regular gray shirt Casey, you don't really need to get this guy, but I do feel like there's enough here to warrant getting him. I do feel like he's a good upgrade with the arms, with the shirt. Like, I don't know, I just like this one a lot more. So we're gonna take a look at Kino here. I'm gonna take this off right now because it barely stays pegged on there and it falls off quite a bit. Peg holes are just slightly too small, which is kind of annoying. And let's just talk about this scooter in general. So I'm assuming this is what the exclusive is going to be. I would imagine at one time they're going to put out another regular Kino. I would be shocked if they didn't put out another regular version. I know his foot soldier version is coming, but like, this is his main look. Why would you not put this out? Even if not in ultimate form in another 2-pack with another character. I can understand wanting to keep this scooter as an exclusive. And honestly, this scooter is not great. Like, it's painted pretty well, it looks pretty good, but it is like the cheapest, flimsiest plastic. Like, I feel like I could snap this with hardly any pressure at all if I wanted to, and it just feels super light and cheap, so that's kind of a bummer. But the figure as a whole, it looks pretty good. His head sculpt is really good. He definitely scales a lot better than the Danny figure does. He also came in the box set that came with a lot of other stuff, so you did have to pay $100 to get this figure, which is kind of ridiculous. I do like the t-shirt that it came with, but outside of that, paying $100 to have this Kino figure is a little bit ridiculous. Worth $100? Probably not, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, just in case they don't come out with a regular release in this version. Alright, you guys, save the best figure for last. If you've seen any of my content lately, I have been very critical on Super 7. So there has been an extreme drought this year in Super 7 figures. All they've gotten out is the glow-in-the-dark figures, which is kind of a double-edged sword for me because I do love glow-in-the-dark. I've talked about it 10 million times on this channel. They are some of my favorite figures, but I do just want some regular release figures of molds that we haven't gotten before. That being said, this guy is a front runner for my figure of the year along with the NECA Triceratops. He is fucking amazing. He definitely does have some paint issues here and there, but nothing too bad to ruin the figure or anything. The one bummer, he only comes with 2 throwing stars, so he's missing one on that peg. But other than that, this guy is like a 9.9 out of 10 for me. This color scheme is so cool. I've always loved the watermelon color scheme with the neon green and the hot pink. I don't know why, it just works so well for me. And just going with the blue on the gums, and I never would have thought I would have given a shit about the gums on a figure, but I really like the way that blue pops off the yellow teeth. He just looks so good from all angles. He glows really bright. He doesn't fade as fast as Mutagen Man does, and he doesn't get as dull as he does, but he definitely doesn't hold it like the Baxter does, or even the Turtles for that matter. He was actually only $5 more. I think he was $60, which I think the Turtles were $10 more than the regular release, so Kind of annoying that they do upcharge for the glow in the dark, but I got mine on pizza day when they were offering like 15% off on Turtles figures, so I actually did get 2 of him as well. I got another one that I'm going to keep in box, and I'm also not super butthurt that they didn't come with the slip covers. All of my inbox figures I display without the slip covers on anyway, but I feel like if they're not going to use the shippers, they definitely need to package them well. That was another benefit of getting 2, is they came in a case together, so they were packaged really well, which is nice. Big Bad Toy Store has these guys up right now. High recommend from me. Probably one of my favorite glow in the dark figures of all time, and like I said, front runner for my favorite figure of the year right now. But we all know Q4 is going to be extremely loaded with awesome figures. So let me know what you guys think. Who's your favorite figure from this opening? Slash was definitely the easy front runner for me. Casey probably comes in second, and then I'd probably put the Sinja in third. And even though that Deadpool figure isn't a TMNT figure, I like him a lot. Just something about getting that combination between 2 of my favorite IPs is just, I don't know, I'm a sucker for it. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for liking my videos, commenting on my videos, and for sticking around, being cool during this time of slow production for me. That's all I got for you guys in this one. So take it easy, be safe, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.